It's your boy, DJ Shawn DePaz, and that's your other boy, Brack. And this is the Phoenix Sports Podcast. Welcome. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. In the words of Bomani Jones, you leave a 4-star review. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. Bo, how we doing?
We're doing good, man. I'll take 4 stars. That ain't bad. Bomani's got high standards.
No, because he's like he says, I'm inclined to believe you're a hater because you're going out of your way to be like, they're aight, but they could be better. Like if you like them, if you like your podcast, just give them 5 stars.
Yeah,
give it a 4-star and help nobody.
If you're gonna give anything, you either go 5 or 1, right?
Yeah,
There's
like
no in between.
If we suck, let us know we suck. But give us a 1 so we really know we suck.
Bo, maybe on your little podcast you can be
your little side
okay
project.
for mediocrity.
Yeah.
Not here. Okay.
We
Bubble
have higher
Shane,
expectations.
Bubble
yeah.
Shane and DJ Mackie P and Sir DePaz.
Mr.
Don't
Electric.
take no mediocrity, and that's
Damn straight.
final.
Yeah, this ain't no amateur hour with Johnny V and Bo B. This is what you said with Mackie P and Shawn DePaz. I love it. Let's do it. Let's go big time today.
And while you're doing it, it's almost Father's Day. You're a dad, Bo. You excited?
I am a father. You kind of Father's Day. I'm glad it's evolved from when I was a kid because we were little scumbag kids where we didn't have any creativity, and you'd always give your dad a mug or a tie. And I'm glad that now we have options like the PHNX locker where you can get them actually legit gifts.
Feel you. I am not a dad, but I got plenty of people who call me one. And whether you're getting it for a real dad or a figurative daddy, head over to PHNX or go PHNX locker. We got a Father's Day sale. Buy one, get one half off all shirts and hats from June 8th right now, or I guess yesterday until June 18th. Dad hat. Perfect for dads, even though you're a snapback guy, right? You wear the snapback.
You know what? I need to venture into the dad hat world. I think that would help me out a lot.
Am I allowed to wear a dad hat without having kids?
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're not a hat person,
I do all the time.
Yeah, that's true. You're wearing one right now, kind of. Yeah, no, not kind of. You are.
I am.
Whether your dad hat, shirt, whatever, get it. Head over to the PHNX locker, and while you're there, become a diehard. And when you become a diehard, you get a free shirt. So you can get a free shirt and then buy another shirt and then get another shirt half off. Or hats, however you want to do it. It's a perfect time. And when you're a diehard, we got a bunch of stuff. You get discounts on our events, our merch. Join us for our Knockout Nights Cornhole Tournament at BetMGM, first Friday of every month. You can enter. It's free to enter. The food and beverage specials, sportsbook matches, giveaways, etc. And we do all of our shows live from the BetMGM Sportsbook. Johnny even comes up or down or over from the Cope and is in BetMGM. So if you haven't seen him in person, you can pull through and meet him. And
that's how we're trying to lure people out.
Yeah,
is Johnny
and his
from
guns?
His perch from Maricopa. He's making the trek.
Don't mention a man and his guns from Maricopa.
No.
Oh boy, yeah, you're probably right.
No, I mean there's things that are more alluring than John.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Well, there's plenty of
things. This isn't an indictment on him, but I think that it's also like there's a lot better thing. Like the sports book is just spectacular.
That is
just
true.
A little.
The food there is amazing.
It is amazing. Best nachos in the valley. They are right there at the BetMGM sports book, and the only way you really can get there and find out about events like that is becoming a diehard.
Exactly. And you also, like I said, you get discounts on our paid events like our Dbacks takeovers. Next one, June 3rd. I will be there, 7:10 p.m. against the maybe the best team in the National League. If it's not the Dbacks, the Atlanta Braves. There'll be a pregame meetup at the Four Peaks Draft House at Chase Field. It's awesome. I wasn't at the last watch or the last takeover, but
dude, the Four Peaks Draft Room is crazy.
The views looked amazing.
It's amazing,
and you can get like basically all the Four Peaks beers there, right?
Yep, you can get all the Four Peaks.
Yeah,
beers
so
there.
obviously they have Four Peaks around the stadium, but there you can get a larger selection of Four Peaks. And let's be real, Four Peaks is the best beer. It's the best beer that's holding any baseball stadium in the league. I'm gonna just go on a limb.
It hasn't always been the Four Peaks, tap room, but it's the best iteration of this it's ever been. It's just like, it made so much sense.
Exactly.
And it's one of the greatest places on earth.
It looks dope. So we'll be there for the takeover. So head over to the PHNX, go PHNX to get your tickets and become a diehard, like I said, at phnxlocker.com. Grab your membership. Yeah. Speaking of Four Peaks.
Absolutely. Four Peaks. They got some great deals going on. You can actually, over the weekend, you can go get a mug engraved for Dad. And you can do it for a very good discounted price. They also have their gift cards that they have discounts at. Four Peaks has something for everybody, especially during the dad season, Father's Day. they're going to hook you up. But you can always check out H Street in Tempe. They've got all the beers being brewed on location, all delicious. Of course, they've got their bourbon barrel batch that's going on. They've got a selection of bourbon barrels that they put the beer that they brew right there on location, and they age them there, and they're so smooth. Like, they've got their flagship kilt lifter. They've got a bourbon barrel version of that. It's unbelievable. You got to check it out for yourself, but you also have to follow Four Peaks on your socials, at Four Peaks Pub, at Four Peaks Brew, and you can go get yourself some tickets to an Arizona Diamondbacks game. You can sign up to win those. Just follow them on Instagram, hit the link in the bio, and enter to win 4 tickets to a Diamondbacks game. You also get that option of some D-Bucks, so you can go spend that money, put it right back in the Four Peaks, the Four Peaks bar up there in right field. But Four Peaks got to be 21 years or older to enjoy it, and of course, you always want to do it responsibly.
Four Peaks, like I said, best beer in Arizona. Sadly, I do not believe you can get Four Peaks up in Toronto, Canada, which is bad news for one Coyotes legend, Shane Doan. It's kind of some shocking news yesterday, if you haven't heard. Shane Doan is leaving the Arizona Coyotes organization and becoming an assistant to general manager Brad Treliving with the Toronto Maple Leafs of all teams. Treliving himself was an assistant general manager for the Coyotes. He was hired in 2003 while Doan was, of course, playing for the Coyotes. So they go a little ways back. Toronto, notably, the home of one Arizona native, Austin Matthews. Shane Doan released a statement earlier today. He said, "I would like to thank Alex Morello, Javier Gutierrez, and Bill Armstrong for providing me with the opportunity to work in the Coyotes front office the past 3." Yeah, you read it, Shane, because I'm struggling over here.
With the Coyotes front office for the past 3 seasons, it was an incredible learning experience that prepared me for the next step in my career. It's extremely difficult for me to leave the Coyotes, but the opportunity to work for a storied franchise like the Toronto Maple Leafs was something that I couldn't pass up. The Coyotes will always be very special to me, and I wish Alex and the organization all the best in the future. The Valley will always be my home, and I'm sure he followed it with a ow.
So drop in the chat kind of your reaction to this. But Bo, obviously a Valley legend. Your reaction to him leaving the franchise and of going to, of all franchises,
I mean, it's
Toronto
upsetting, right? I mean, that's the stock response, and I wish I had something different than that, but it is. It's just like we really couldn't make something work here in the Valley. I mean, he's been a part of this organization even before it was an organization here in the Valley of the Sun, drafted into the Winnipeg Jets organization. He's been, part of the Coyotes, half his life. He's 46 years old, and now he has to go somewhere else to continue his hockey career. I'm like, I like what Bill Armstrong and the Yotes are doing, the direction they're going, but you couldn't carve out a spot for the face of your franchise, a guy that ate so much crap for this organization for far too long, and you couldn't find a path for him to do what he wants to do off the ice within the walls of your organization. He had to go to a storied organization in Toronto to get his opportunity. It's not a huge deal, but it's part of the details that I think like really rock solid, good organizations pay attention to, and they missed on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is definitely kind of the initial reaction, right? And they talked about this a lot on the PHNX Coyote show earlier this morning. So if you didn't get a chance to watch that, go back after our show and watch that. But right, there was no, they weren't going to fire Bill Armstrong. There was not an assistant general manager or a general manager position open for Shane Doan, but it does seem like it, especially when you consider all the other things going on with this organization, it's kind of tough that, like you said, they couldn't really figure out a way to give him a bigger role within the team.
Right.
Now, granted, there have been situations where franchise legends go to a different franchise and kind of get some experience and then go back to that franchise later on in their career as a general manager. Specifically, you look at the situation with the Detroit Red Wings, the Steve Yzerman. Yeah. But it definitely hurts. And I mean, as a Cardinals guy, somewhat similar situation to the Adrian Wilson situation, right? How do you kind of compare those two situations?
I mean, it's still bad looks for both organizations. I don't think that it lessens the blow. It's obviously something that's comparable. But, do you get the sense that it was the Yotes for Farce just is like, hey, stand up there and look pretty, and go shake hands, kiss babies, be the face of this franchise. But he's like, well, I want to be more than that. I want to help take this organization from where it is in the cellar out of that and get back to where it once was when he was on the ice in 2012 when they were playing in the Western Conference Finals, right? He wants to be a part of that. And they're like basically saying, well, you don't know puck, or your puck philosophies don't match up with ours, so you're going to have to go do that elsewhere. I just think that that's a misstep. That's not something that should have happened. And despite, whatever, wherever there is a disconnect between, what Armstrong wants or ownership above Armstrong and Shane Doan. I mean, this is a guy that knows hockey, and you think that he can be part of the solution, and he doesn't have to go elsewhere to go cut his teeth in another front office in the meantime.
Yeah. And I mean, and people are kind of making the point in the chat that like Doan has already done so much for this for not just the organization, but really the state, the sport in the state. And I mean, really, Toronto, like they talked about it on the Coyote show, like Shane Doan was Austin Matthews' idol. And without Shane Doan, there probably is no Austin Matthews. And if there's no Austin Matthews, then, I mean, what are you doing up there in Toronto? Like, their whole franchise is completely different. So, he's already done so much for this. So I definitely don't think there is, at least from anyone here, and I haven't really seen this from the fan base, any kind of animosity towards Shane Doan himself, right? It doesn't seem like this was anything that he necessarily wanted to do. A point that Petey made on the Coyote show was that when he was in the studio here, he talked about taking a step back kind of from hockey, from the Coyotes front office, spend more time with his family. So it definitely seems like something where he wasn't actively looking for a way to get out of the Coyotes organization because it was a mess. It was, he got approached with an opportunity he couldn't really pass up with a man he's had a connection with for a very long time, and an opportunity to work for, let's be real, they haven't won in a long time, but the biggest organization in hockey. And so I think if you're a Coyotes fan, it hurts, but you're not really mad at Doan. I understand some frustration with the organization, and ultimately you're happy that a guy like this gets an opportunity like this.
He's always going to be a guy where the door is going to be open to the Coyotes, and you just hope that, time will heal this. Maybe if you got to imagine there's a little bit of a wound here, right?
Oh, 100%.
Because he wanted the opportunity, I'm sure, to happen here, and then he gets, like, aren't the stakes higher in Toronto? I know that they've been struggling, but the stake, like, let's keep in mind who we are. As an organization, and it's like the Coyotes have aspirations to dig themselves out of this, and like I said, I like their direction, but at the same time, like the goals of a stadium and a rebuilding roster, like you're at the beginning of that. You haven't done anything yet. So to say like you're too good to even give an opportunity to a former player that wants to cut his teeth in the front office ranks or helping building an organization, I think that's a bit arrogant.
Yeah, and I mean, if there was a guy you were going to make a role for, like Shane Doan is that guy. He is. Well,
I mean, they made a role for him, but it's like he didn't want to just be the face. He didn't want to just be, the kind of a. He wanted to play a bigger role as far as things go with this team and making them better.
Yeah, and like I said, just because he is he's gone now doesn't mean there's not a path for him to return and have a big role in this organization at some point in the future. Another thing they talked about on the Coyote show, a little tinfoil hat theory. Maybe he's out there just doing a little espionage, trying to get Austin Matthews out to the Valley.
Or it's like the Coyotes: if you love something, let it go. Yeah, just go off, learn how to be a GM, and then come back into our arms. Like that's the romantic idea of it. But it's still like today, when it's less than 24 hours old, it stings.
Yeah. Speaking of letting something go, and if it's meant to be, it'll come back. Chris Paul kind of in a similar situation, which we'll talk about in a bit. But similar to not having any Four Peaks up in Toronto, sadly, Donor is not going to have any OGs up in Toronto because they are Arizona's #1 scratch-made gummy. They're the best. And listen, being an assistant to the general manager, which I think is technically his title, shout out Dwight Schrute, that's going to be a stressful job, especially in a place like Toronto. So when he comes back to the Valley, maybe he can partake in the OGs because they got something for everybody. If he's struggling to sleep, we got Sleepy Time Gummies, Aquaberry, Sleep Edition, CBN to THC 2-to-1 ratio, Strawberries and Cream, CBD, THC 1-to-1 ratio. And if he's back here during the summer, they got a new summertime flavor. June 21st, they're dropping their pink lemonade. I'm excited for that because they have not missed on a flavor yet. And pink lemonade in and of itself is a great flavor. So I'm very excited for a pink lemonade OGs. And if you want to find OGs, check out Check them out at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at ogsbrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary, but you must be 21 years or older to purchase. Like I said, letting something go, and if it's meant to be, it will return. Chris Paul. We learned earlier in the week that Chris Paul is expected to be released by the Phoenix Suns. Now the Suns can save $15 million by cutting him. He has a $30.8 million contract. Only 15.8 of that are guaranteed. But technically speaking, there is still a path for Chris Paul to return. They have a few different options. They can trade him, which obviously he won't return. They can waive and stretch the remainder of his contract, which does not make the Suns eligible to re-sign Chris Paul. That stretches out the money they owe him over, I believe, 5 years, Gerald said. Or they can waive him outright and then have an opportunity to re-sign him. Now, we've heard a lot of different things about where the Suns could go or guys who might be interested in coming to the Suns. Obviously, Chris Paul is kind of the incumbent here. But we've heard names like James Harden, who apparently Gambo kind of trade reaped earlier today.
How dare he?
Yeah, right. Obviously, we've heard that Dame Lillard might be interested in playing with Devin Booker, but everyone's interested in playing with Devin Booker. And obviously, getting him here is a much different path than signing a free agent. But I guess considering all, just first off, kind of your reactions to somewhat sudden release of Chris Paul.
I don't know. You go through the emotions,
Yeah, right?
It's like, well, it could be option A, B, or C, and Gerald Bourguet breaks it down at gophnx.com. Because otherwise, like, if anybody else was telling me that, it's like if they were telling me like how to do my taxes. I would just be like, okay,
yeah, the wave and stretch thing was not something I was even fully like aware of.
So it's like, yeah, they could, ride together again, or it could be the end of CP3. And it's like, thank you for your service, CP3. You helped take the post-bubble Suns and help them, break through the ceiling and get to the finals and get as close to a title as they've ever been. And then it's like, okay, then there's another ceiling. And one thing I do like is that the Suns are tied to all these big names. Like, you can poo-poo some of the names, and I know Gambo already said no on Harden. Why do guys keep on bringing that up? Because it's fun, and it's like this organization is lifting up every single rock that they can find in order to kind of break through. And you have to like that as a Suns fan, regardless if you don't like Kyrie or you don't like them dabbling with Dame, or you don't think it's going to be the solution. Like, at least they're looking at and approaching every avenue, and including trying to get Chris Paul at a potentially cheaper deal, right?
Yeah.
Because he said they can save about $15 million. Where we saw this roster that it was more than just a couple players away. They need a little bit more depth. In order to do so, they're going to need a little bit more financials in order to do so. So this opens that up. Now, whether it means saying goodbye to Chris Paul or whether bringing him back at a cheaper number, there's options.
Yeah. Now, to clarify, he does have to go through waivers, but I mean, let's be honest. Anybody that claims him is going to have to pay him that full contract, and I don't see anybody wanting to pay Old Man Rivers all that kind of money, especially.
It's so insulting.
I know, but he is an old man. Like, I don't think anyone's going to want to pay a point guard of that age, considering the injury problems he's had.
Yeah.
All that kind of money.
Those are that's undeniable. Like, it feels like any big series that he's been a part of, he's suffered. An injury.
He's always injured in the playoffs. Even when he was younger, he was getting injured in the playoffs. So, and that has to be brought into the equation. And like you said, the Suns were clearly multiple pieces away. So, paying Chris Paul all that money just was not, I don't think, a very, very realistic option if they were
feel like
trying
it was inevitable? Like, when you saw that deal come out in 2021, and now you're like, this is not 4 years. That there's no way he's going to see.
Yeah, especially without them having a ring at this point. And now they have a new head coach who's, I'm sure, going to kind of want to mold the roster a little bit in his image. So,
what's your least favorite name bandied about?
Oh, it's Kyrie. I don't want anything to do with that. I think he's probably the most talented when he's playing out of the names that are mentioned. Obviously, James Harden's a little older at this point and kind of comes in and out of being James Harden.
His numbers are better than Paul's.
Yeah. I think when you're comparing those two, I'd rather take James Harden.
I mean, you're looking for a legit third option.
Yeah.
I read like Terry Rozier. That doesn't do anything for me.
Maybe off the bench, I wouldn't mind if he's a backup point guard. But yeah, I don't.
But you're going from a proven starting point guard.
Yeah.
In CP3 to a guy that you would want to just play bench minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
You're looking for because
So-
I think what's up, Shane?
Colin Cowherd came up with something that I thought was very interesting, but it's a Colin Cowherd trade.
Let's get into the herd then. What's he have?
He has Marcus Smart, sign and trade Chris Paul.
Now,
I'm out on that.
really,
For
why?
the Suns?
Yeah, I just don't. Marcus Smart, I didn't think he was part of what Boston was doing. I didn't think that he's not. He shouldn't. If he's your third option, you're in trouble.
Yeah, but I mean,
He was the third option in Boston, and they.
But if
they
DeAndre
tried,
Ayton's
they got
still
to
on the
game
team,
7, but
if DeAndre Ayton's still on the team and he kind of figured that he's in a better mood, I guess,
but
with Frank Vogel.
your second option's not Jaylen Brown. Your second option's Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that is a good point. I think all things being equal, any player, if we could just drop somebody on, I want Dame Lillard. But obviously, you're gonna have to trade for him. I don't really know how that would work. And I saw a report, I think this morning, maybe last night, that they are interested in trading Anthony Simons to try and build around Dame. So I don't know. I feel like they've been saying that shit up there for years now, so I don't really know if that means anything. But still, I don't know that they are completely sold on.
are we sure these are legit reports, or is chat
I don't know if
GPT
anything's legit.
just churning out?
We were getting conflicting
Is
reports.
Baby Gronk getting traded to the Phoenix Suns for Chris Paul?
Baby Gronk sign and trade anybody? Getting back to the Marcus Smart thing, I love that idea personally. I like just having kind of a younger guy, and I like kind of that.
Does he keep the green hair?
No, go orange. That'd be
Okay.
hard.
Welcome to Planet Orange.
That would
Purple.
be hard.
Purple.
Purple's probably.
Yeah, but the purple won't pop as much.
That's fine.
I mean, I'm not going to complain either way, but I think an orange would go crazy. I like that a lot. I also kind of like the nastiness he would bring to this team, and not like a phony nastiness that I think Devin Booker kind of gets criticized for having sometimes. Like he talks shit at specific times, which I don't necessarily think is fair. But
I mean,
think
Chris Paul is one of the
objectively
nastier
not true.
competitors.
I don't think that's fair. Yeah, but I think that's a
last 2
criticism that
decades.
gets lobbied against him. And I regardless, I don't think anyone on this team necessarily has the nastiness that a guy like Marcus Smart has, which I think this team could use. So I like that. And if you're the Celtics, I mean, I think having that kind of veteran presence in the backcourt, I think could be beneficial.
I see Ryan asking about Fred VanVleet. I feel like I haven't heard or really thought about Fred VanVleet for far too long.
Listen,
since the Raptors.
Yeah,
title
Let's
run.
keep it that way.
Yeah, I don't. Fred VanVleet is one of those guys.
You know how
that
much money he's getting paid?
He got
An absurd amount.
I don't want one of those guys that just got a contract because it got carried by one spectacular player and that made everyone look good. Because Kawhi made Nick Nurse look good.
Yep.
He made Fred VanVleet look good. He made Pascal Siakam look better than he actually is, even though Pascal Siakam's still amazing. I'm not trying to criticize him, but he made everyone on that team look better than they actually were. So yeah,
Except for Ty Lue, he just kind of
yeah, I'm out on Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, I agree. Unless he's like you were saying with Rozier, unless he's a guy that's going to be fringe, backup. He's not going to be your starter.
Jose saying, I didn't even know that would be an option. CP Smart. Interesting. Booker can talk all the shit he wants. He's on the court. I mean, I don't know if that's at me specifically. If you know anything about me, I'm going to talk shit regardless of daytime, season, setting. I'm going to talk shit no matter what. But
I'll talk shit to his grandma.
No.
I mean, he does.
If grandma and I were competing, I would talk shit to my grandma. No one's safe.
When she throws down the draw 4 on Uno, you're talking shit?
Yeah, absolutely.
The reverse?
Yeah. So just final kind of to wrap this up. Do you think Chris Paul will be a Phoenix Sun next year?
I mean, the betting odds say that he is. Was it like minus 160? That seems like the logical move, right? Does he want to go and try to redo this again at 38? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I considering the other options, especially with apparently James Harden not being that serious of an option. I don't want to have to. I don't like what I think it would take to have to trade for a guy like Dame Lillard. So I think Chris Paul is probably the best option here, especially if that man can figure out to stay healthy in the playoffs. Like Chris Paul is different in the playoffs. When he's saying
that.
I know. I know. But if he can figure it out.
They need to figure out the depth beyond CP3 and why they went through this. It's still a risky move, right? Because to your point, like if he gets waived, he has to make it through waivers, and then he also has to. then he'll be an outright free agent, and then you have to come to terms on a new deal.
This is it
I love
right
it.
here.
I was gonna say I love Dagoon's comment. Every star with a pulse has been in Suns trade talks, but this is Phoenix. You will take your 4 or 5 undersized, no-name shooting guards and like it. Yeah, it does kind of feel that way. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Chris Paul will be a Phoenix Sun next year, and I do think that's probably the most realistic option at this point. All things
Chris
considered.
Paul's banana boating. It's Laker time. It's Laker time.
Oh,
Carmelo's
really?
coming out of retirement.
I love Carmelo Anthony so
is
much.
Dwayne Wade.
Oh my god,
Banana boat time.
is Magic coming out of retirement? Like, are we getting everybody? Chris Bosh want to come out of retirement? Is his heart okay?
No, that's not. He wasn't on the banana boat.
Who was on the banana boat? It was the three
It
of
was
them.
Chris
and-
Paul, LeBron, Carmelo.
Oh, it's Carmelo. Okay, yeah.
And
Yeah, I was gonna say
Oh,
that.
wait.
Wasn't
Wow.
Melo?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll look
No
up the
Melo.
boat.
But regardless, Altec saying Suns need a Zach Cassian type. Let's be real here. I agree. That's why. Hey, Marcus Smart could be a Zach Cassian type. He could just be. You could add that mean streak. But who knows?
There's Dwayne Wade.
It was Dwayne Wade. Okay. Damn it, Dwayne Wade wanted to come out of retirement. That would be people.
It's been too long.
Hey, I don't think the U's realize how good like peak Dwayne Wade was. Dwayne Wade was like. He was him.
And then when he was in Cleveland, he wasn't.
He wasn't, no, but that was we don't talk about that. We don't talk about Cleveland, Dwayne Wade. But we do.
We don't talk about Cleveland, period.
Oh, sorry.
True.
Didn't know the rule here.
It's true. But we do talk about our good friends over at Manscaped, and we say very kind things about our good friends over at Manscaped because
You're on a banana boat, you want to be Manscaped.
yeah, you want to be groomed up. If you're out there on the beach, especially if you're like a Speedo type, you want to make sure everything's.
Like, why does that guy have a life jacket over his wool sweater?
What is going on? I don't. Yeah, I just stay. She had to take the headset. Oh, that got him. Yeah, get cleaned up. It's summertime. You want to be nice. Look at me. I'm rocking the chest. You know, you don't want if this was I had a wool coat popping out of the shirt. You'd be distracted. Thanks over to my friends at Manscaped. That didn't happen. And I know there's plenty of dads out there who got they got a lot going on. Their body hair, it's disgusting.
Right.
Get your dad.
Nobody
Manscaped.
likes it. There's very few. It's like a niche that likes the hair. Most people.
And even if you do like the hair, Manscaped helps you keep it controlled and clean. So you want to, you got to keep it. Even if you're going to go with the hair, you got to make it look good. And Manscaped's got you there. Manscaped makes the perfect Father's Day gift. They've got a variety of stuff. You can get the Performance Package 4.0. It includes the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. So you get the boxers to hold your goodies and the travel bag to hold your goodies. You got more than me on it.
I got
Check out our friends over at Manscaped. Get your dad some Manscaped so he can keep his balls nice and clean. I'm glad I can't see Shane because I feel like it would distract me. But yeah, head over to Manscaped. Take your freedom bells to the next level by going to manscaped.com and get 20% off with free shipping with our friends over at Manscaped. Use discount code PHNX. Get your independence back. This Independence Day, I was reading the Independence Day read.
Dong.
Just let freedom ring.
Let freedom ring.
Dong.
All days of the week.
Dong.
But you get a good Juneteenth present too. We want to talk about letting freedom ring.
For Totri?
Yeah, where is Totri?
He's
By the way,
preparing.
side note, I gotta get this off my chest. I got a text from my apartment complex today that the office is gonna be closed on Juneteenth. I've been in that office. Ain't none of y'all celebrating Juneteenth. What are we talking about here? Like, you'll take a day off for what? For what? You don't deserve it. You didn't do anything for that day off. Anyways, you know who does deserve a day off? Because they've been trying harder than anybody in the entire league. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks. We're not gonna get too far into them because what are you gonna say? They're just on a roll. Zach Gallen might be the best pitcher in the NL because Spencer Strider got rocked yesterday. The Dbacks are they keep doing their thing. Corbin Carroll's him. Place a $5 free bet that you get from BetMGM whenever you log in Wednesdays, Saturdays on Corbin Carroll to win MVP. Pays out $750.
MVP?
Low key. I'm just saying. It's great value there. Just saying. And speaking of great value, you can get some pretty damn good value on Dbacks tickets with our friends over at Game Time. They have a huge series coming up this week against defending National League champion Philadelphia Phillies. Obviously, the Phillies have not been great this year, but I mean, it's still the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryce Harper and company. JT Real Muto, like they got things going on over there. It's a fun team to watch, and I've heard that you were going not to 1, not 2, not 3, but all 4 games of this series.
4-game series. That's because my nephew Jackson is a dirty, filthy bandwagon.
Dirty.
And he's a Phillies fan, even though he's spent almost every moment of his life here in the Valley of the Sun. I try to get him on board. Like, don't you want to be a part of the community? You don't want to be like a savage Philly fan where you throw batteries at
unbelievable
at opposing players
or
and
snowballs
boo
at
Santa
Santa.
Claus. Yeah, I mean, what are we doing? Cheering on injured players? No, but he's a huge Phillies fan, loves Bryce Harper. So we're going to these games, and it's all thanks to Game Time. You wouldn't think that that's feasible, making TPSP money, right? But it is with Game Time app, because you can get in at a great price, and you can catch multiple games of a series, not just one. You can get into Chase Field as low as $15.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at some of these other sites, you're getting 1 ticket for the amount of money that you are going to all 4 of these games. You can get in to all 4 of these games for $46 a person, if I did my math correct there. So shout out our friends over at Game Time. They, like I said, they have the best deals when it comes to buying tickets. So if you want to get into a Dbacks game or any of the variety of awesome things that we have going on in the Valley, whether that's sports like the Arizona Rattlers, I'm still trying to get to an indoor football game, or concerts. You need a parking pass. Game Time's got you. Head over to Game Time. You create an account and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. I'm very much looking forward to getting out to those games because, like I said, the Phillies or the Dbacks are on a roll.
Those are spring training prices, or what used to be spring training prices, and you get to watch Bryce Harper,
yeah, right,
and Corbin Carroll. I mean, that's right there. That's worth it.
It is. I would 100% agree. And you'll also be able to use Game Time when the time comes to get tickets to see your somewhat new look Arizona Cardinals. I mean, there'll be new look with their jerseys and new look because they won't have DeAndre Hopkins there.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray won't be there to start the season.
Most likely not.
Most likely. But the big question is, will Budda Baker be there? Mandatory minicamp starting next week, correct?
That's right. Two practices, Tuesday, Wednesday. It was going to be 3, but I guess they're giving him a little time to recuperate.
Oh, nice. How kind of them.
The big question.
Yeah, the big question is, will Budda Baker be in attendance? Obviously, this man over here, Bo, he dabbles in talking about the Arizona Cardinals every now and again. He's no Johnny Venerable, but he tries his hardest. If you had to guess right now, we've obviously heard some things about that he said.
Yeah.
Will Budda Baker be at mandatory minicamp?
Yeah, I get the sense that he is going to be there. He said he was going to show up when he needs to. Let the guys on the business side figure it out for him as far as his reported trade request and his request for a new deal. So I do believe that Budda Baker, once it comes to it, as far as mandatory minicamp, everything else before this has been voluntary, he'll be there for the 2 practices next week.
Now, if he weren't to show up, obviously, like you said, you think he will, but if he weren't to show up, what does that mean for the Cardinals? How should Cardinals fans react to that news if they were to get it?
I mean, it's like the Doan stuff, right? Yeah. It's disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the relationship. Like, once you get to training camp and you start missing practices, then fines start to come in. And also mandatory minicamp would kind of hit him in the pocketbook a little bit, but it's not going to financially sink him. He's not going to be the Tiger King. He's going to be able to recover.
Never financially recover.
And I think the Cardinals would probably work something out with him because he's poised for a big year, and they know that they're going to be a better team with Budda on the field. And I think the Cardinals realize he doesn't have a lot of leverage, right? And that's why they're standing put. He's potentially under contract for the next 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. So Budda, he'll likely be there. Jalen Thompson, the new look Arizona Cardinals, as I said, we're going to see our first glimpse of them outside of Kyler Murray on the practice field this upcoming week. And it's exciting. We'll get our first taste of it. And yeah. I think Budda Baker, his practices are legendary. Yeah. I mean, you get to see him on the playing field on a regular basis, but his practices are legendary. So for him to kind of set that example for a very young team, that's exciting. And look, if there is something where he's not out there, like you still have Isaiah Simmons, he's going to be playing on the back end of that defense. You still have Jalen Thompson. You've got some backup options. Nobody the caliber of Budda, but they'll have
nobody good, but
nobody good. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. You might be right, but don't do that. Yeah, I mean, we saw earlier last year during Hard Knocks just how valuable of a leader Budda is.
He's the heart and soul.
Yeah, he's the heart and soul of the team. So, yeah, certainly valuable for him to be out there. Definitely a relief to hear that you think he will be. And you mentioned a new look. Part of that new look is some of the young guys, the rookies. Obviously, Paris Johnson Jr., and Michael Wilson. There's a new hole in that receiving room. What are your thoughts so far? Obviously, you've had a look at some of these rookies out in Tempe. What are your thoughts on them so far? Who's impressed you?
I think that this is with the new regime is going to be a new opportunity to actually see these young players. Where the previous coaching staff, they would hold off. Like Trey McBride wasn't even active his first game. Yeah. You saw their pass rushers that they drafted in the 3rd round. Majay Sanders, Cameron Thomas barely even play, even though they were playing for nothing at the end of last year. You're going to see a difference because you're going to see Monty Ossenfort, Jonathan Gannon's guys out there. And I think they're going to get the chance from day one. Like we're going to see Michael Wilson compete for a starting receiver role on this team, and Paris Johnson get a chance to potentially start at a tackle position, probably right tackle, right out of the gates. And that's exciting, right? You get to immediately kind of see the new regime's players get some opportunities right out of the gate. So that's exciting. Michael Wilson, he's been turning heads ever since he stepped on the practice field for the Cardinals. Jalen Thompson, the safety, was impressed by him. Hollywood Brown's been impressed by him as far as the receivers. He said he's silky smooth as far as running his routes. He's got good size. The only thing with Wilson is like staying healthy. That's why he dropped in the 3rd round. So it's going to be fun to watch, if he can continue to push the envelope for a starting spot. And then Paris Johnson Jr., he does everything right. So I think he's going to hold on to it. The dark horse here is Clayton Tune.
That's what I was going to ask.
The quarterback, right? And everybody wants him to kind of make the case. And I think the Cardinals are going to give everything in their power to let him be the backup quarterback to start the season. It's his job to lose behind Colt McCoy.
So you Clayton Tune, Houston, right? Out of Houston, right?
Yeah.
What kind of do you think he? What should fans expect from him? I mean, what if he is kind of the guy?
Temper your expectations, right? He's not going to be Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was Brock Purdy because he didn't have to start until the back half of the season. He got to get some pro practices under his belt,
and he was on maybe the best roster in all football.
He was in a plug and play. It was like a roster was hey,
was maybe the best head coach in all football.
Right? He a decent head coach.
Yeah, maybe. That's why I said maybe. That's why I said maybe. Yeah.
Johnny and Bo are such Shanahan haters. It's crazy.
Hold on. I'll give him his flowers, but I'm also not going to say he's the best coach in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't think he's the best coach in the NFL.
That's why I said maybe.
Johnny
Clayton
thinks he's
Tune's
a bad
going
coach.
to surprise you, but if he's thrown to the Wolves, that's going to be bad. That's going to develop some bad habits. If they can bring him along, if Colt McCoy can be the incumbent backup QB1 when Kyler Murray's gone, and then Tune get a lot of just really good reps in the preseason, and him be the backup quarterback and maybe start down the line if Kyler Murray's not back, fine, I'll take it. But to your point, not a good situation to come in out of the gates. But I mean, he's playing in Houston. He's not playing in the SEC. He's not playing the Pac-12 or the ACC. He was playing at Houston. He was playing against Navy. It's that's not the same.
Don't do that. Hey,
big numbers.
Respect the troops. Come on.
He was the second most athletic quarterback at these combine, but a distant second to Anthony Richardson. He's gonna not blow you away, but he's also got some things that you're gonna say, oh, I didn't know he could do that.
And before he left, he may not have known his name, but D-Hop did say he was impressed with the kid they got from Houston. So
D-Hop, by the way, that's interesting. It's Monty Ossenfort is all over social media today for how he pulled off those trades. It was kind of shown on the Arizona Cardinals social media, and then you got D-Hop. He's talking to the Titans and the Patriots. He's looking at catching passes from Mac Jones and Will Levis.
No, he's looking to catching checks from Robert Kraft and whoever owns the Tennessee Titans. He didn't care about the football thing at that point. Will Levis, please. I get that the Bills can't pay you, but please.
What's
please.
That video, by the way, unbelievable. The Cardinals posted.
It is. It was
the flight
one
plan,
of the
right?
finer moments as far as the flight plan, and Monty Ossenfort is one of the best pieces of cinema I've seen.
I forget who tweeted it, but there was a tremendous meme that came out of it that said, when you go to a teppanyaki place and
yeah, that guy, whoever tweeted that, is a master
Bo.
on the bird.
Bo's very funny.
But so all in all, I guess what I'm hearing is that if you're a Cardinal fan, because Cardinals fans definitely have been spurned in the past by management and by their rookie classes, the draft classes. There's plenty of reason to be excited.
Out today. You get to very few moments, especially this offseason, where you're having to clean up all the crap from the previous front office and coaching staff. Like this is a dub day for Cardinals fans. And with mandatory coming up, you can't lose in mandatory. Preseason gets a little dicey. So this is one of the few proud moments for sure.
So to sum it all up, you're a Cardinals fan, expect to see Budda Baker there, and expect to see some of these young guys make a little bit of a name for themselves. If you don't know them now, you will. And if you don't know about our friends at Spaghetti Shack, you should. I was not here this Monday, and I heard that they changed it up this week and brought chicken parm.
Chicken parm, you taste so good.
Okay, Peyton.
I mean, every time you think about Peyton Manning in the Nationwide commercial, now I think Spaghetti Shack, because their chicken parm, it goes crazy. So do their meatballs. Of course, you can't go wrong with their straight up spaghetti. Their sauce is unreal.
I will shove pounds of garlic bread in my mouth.
Okay, I wasn't sure where that was going. The garlic bread goes
like
crazy.
the innovation in this office.
The meatball subs?
Were you the one that made the spaghetti sandwich?
Oh, no, whoa. The spaghetti? Okay, spaghetti sandwich was not me. Meatball sandwich was me.
Jacob was the first to do that.
Look, whoever's
the spaghetti meatball sandwich.
I have never put spaghetti on a bread before.
Okay,
I didn't do that.
Can I just be honest? When you put bread and meatballs next to each other, a meatball sub is getting made. Don't act like you did anything crazy.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm Steve Jobs for doing it.
You kind of just did.
I mean, I was just saying I deserve the credit for being the first to do it, but it's not that innovative.
You know, Jacob,
the first to the watering hole,
making a spaghetti
didn't
sandwich,
drinking.
but it paid off.
Yeah. I'm not revolutionizing meatball subs or anything like that, but our friends over at Spaghetti Shack are revolutionizing the spaghetti game. It's ASU alum owned and operated. They serve a menu, like we said, including spaghetti, meatballs, garlic bread, and chicken parm, which I still need to try. Their mission: simple. Provide quality, affordable food as quickly as possible so that you can spend less time cooking and spend more time with your loved ones. Like I said, they're changing the game. They're revolutionizing the spaghetti game. It was amazing. Like I said, Spaghetti Shack, community-focused, to-go pasta concept, started right here in Tempe, Arizona by 5 lifelong friends. They're serving Tempe and Queen Creek, and they hope to come to a neighborhood near you soon. So check out our friends over at Spaghetti Shack. Anything else before we get out of here, Bo?
We just need a Spaghetti Shack in Central Phoenix, and my life would be complete.
Yeah, Johnny needs one down in the Cope, too. Where can the people... Oh, is that Bubble Shane?
No, that was the dinner bell.
Oh, dinner bell. Dinner's ready? Oh, wow.
For Johnny, because he's going to have to drive all the way down here. It's going to take him 4.5 hours.
Fair enough. Where can the people find you live later?
Yeah, we're going to be live just after 4 today, a little bit later for people tuning into PHNX Cardinals.
And to talk about good players, that was a joke. I'm a big fan of Jalen Thompson and Isaiah Simmons and David
right,
Collins.
But we're also going to be talking about Boston Fort. Money Austin Fort. And the
Boston Fort, I like it.
What debuted last night on the flight plan. How the Cardinals are in good hands finally at the general manager position, and why you should be excited about this rebuild. So we're gonna go live just after 4:00. Myself, Johnny Venerable, can't wait for it.
Yeah, and if you're tired of seeing my face, well, I have bad news for you. 2 p.m. Me and Shane live right here on the PHNX YouTube. On PHNX Sun Devils, I'm making a little bit. I got demoted. I got sent down to the minors.
Yeah, got sent down to the minors.
My news for the Devils.
My performance up on the major league team has not been up to snuff, so I've got sent down, kind of get my confidence back. So Shane and I, 2 p.m. I'm gonna tell people what we're talking about.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not talking to Howie, but we're talking to Stuart Mandel. Of the Athletic.
How we do it.
Howie's that's my dog, but I'll take Stuart for now.
Yeah. So fun stuff there, and then. PHNX Dbacks. First pitch, I believe, at 3:20 today. They're playing in Detroit, but we'll be doing a watch along right here on the PHNX YouTube. Me, Derek, Jesse, and then we'll be live after that for a post game show. So, like I said, if you're tired of my face, sorry. That's all we got. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back here next week, 12:30. I don't know. The show might get a little better looking because I think Max should be back taking over Bo's spot. I should still be here. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. Baby Gronk might take your spot.
Baby Gronk might take my spot.
Did Baby Gronk just join TPSP?
Baby Gronk might take my spot. Livy Dunn might take my spot. They might replace both of us. Baby Gronk and Livy Dunn are just...
Where'd you get that shirt, Shawn?
Where did I get this shirt?
No free ads.
Yeah, no free ads. But Primark? It's a store I had never even heard of until I went home to Buffalo.
The PHNX locker.
That's the best place to go shopping. And like we said, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, if you missed it, Father's Day sale, buy one, get one half off right now on the PHNX locker, all hats and t-shirts. And some of them are $5. I will say this right now. Some of y'all know I have a football team that holds a special place in my heart, but that Bird Gang shirt is the best shirt that we have. in my opinion, it's the best shirt we have. That shit goes hard. It's also the only white shirt we have.
The Bird Gang Till I Die.
Bird Gang Till I Die. I
I'm gonna
love
get
that
tattooed
shirt.
on my chest.
I would too. It wouldn't be the first Cardinals related tattoo we've got here, and I think that one will age better than the last one. But whether you're, Cardinals, Dbacks, Coyotes, Suns, ASU,
No,
Cool Down
Charles.
South.
Derek is not the mayor again. I'm still the mayor.
Still the mayor. For now, we may, eventually that term will come up and we'll have an election or whatever. But like I said, thank you for joining us here on the Phoenix Sports Podcast. You can follow me at Shawn_DePaz. You can follow Beauregard Brock at Bo Brock. You can follow the whole operation at PHNX_sports on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Like I said, you're right here on PHNX Sports YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. Just, tell us your favorite number. What? Oh, and follow Bubble Shane at Shane Deef. Does Mac usually shout you out?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think so.
Sorry then. Follow at Shane Deef on Twitter and tweet at him something nice to make up for me forgetting him. And like I said, comment, leave us a review, say something nice, or just tell us your favorite number. Tell us that Bo's hair looks good, maybe your favorite color, whatever. Just leave us a review and 5 stars while you're at it. Like I said, back right here on the PHN Sports YouTube next week, 12:30. Until then, deuces.